Hey everyone, it's Rajiv and welcome back to my channel Rajiv's Reviews. In this video, I'm going to be giving my book review of the third and final book in the Kalki Trilogy called Mahayoddha Kalki, The Sword of Shiva by Kevin Missal. Similar to the previous two books, there are multiple storylines that take place in this book. So I'm going to try and give a brief synopsis of each of them because I just want to dive right into my thoughts of what I thought of the book. Arjun is now the king of Indragar and he has become a ruthless warrior who will stop at nothing to get his way. But little does he know that he is actually being controlled by Kali and Nala Kuvera in order to succeed in his mission. Manasa is also attacking the city thinking that Kali is still heading it even though she is unaware that Arjun is now the king. On a separate storyline, Padma goes on a quest with Ratnamaru in order to help Lord Bajrang in defeating the Rudras. And Kalki has to fight a battle with his idol and the ancient Lord Bhargav, and he also prepares himself for the final battle that is going to take place between the Dharm and the Adharm. It is finally revealed to us who the Dharm and who the Adharm is, and the second half of the book mainly shows the battle between the two, which is epic. This was the perfect ending to the trilogy, and I loved every minute of it. It is very consistent in terms of its pacing to the previous two books, where there are just so many things happening with all the characters, and different chapters are alternating between the different storylines with the different characters. So there is never a dull moment. And what I liked about this book compared to the second book is that they all get connected towards the end, so you actually get to see the bigger picture. Seriously, Kevin Missal is like my favorite Indian mythological author right now because I just love this trilogy so much, and I really want to pick out his two other books which I have not read. Which is not part of the Kalki trilogy. And the main reason I like him so much is because he makes the characters so dynamic and complex that you would really hate them 1 minute, but then because of the circumstances, you would really feel sorry for them and you would want to root for them the next minute. That's one of the main reasons why I loved reading this trilogy so much, is because, for example, in the first book, I really hated Kali because of what a person he was. But in the second book, I really felt sorry for him because he lost everything and you really did not know what was going to happen to him. But in the third book, you see him coming back to his conniving ways and you start hating him again. So it was really interesting to see how my feelings towards certain characters changed so much over these three books. Similarly, I really loved Durukti in the first book because she was such a strong character, and I really hated what the author did to her in the second book for making her so submissive and scared and quiet. But I love that he redeemed her again in this third novel and made me love her all over again. And some of the characters, surprising, were just more interesting in this book when I really didn't care for them in the previous books. For example, I really did not care for Kadru's character, and I thought she was a pretty weak villain even in the second novel. But I loved the way that the author reincarnated her into this very creepy mother-like creature who has this whole group of children doing all her evil deeds, and she turned out to be one villain who I really enjoyed reading about in this third story. Shuko and Devadatta are hilarious as the supporting characters who try to help Kalki in his way to his quest. And Jambavan is also a very interesting character who I wish we could have seen a little bit more of in the story because I felt like he was abruptly just let go after the first few pages in the story. My favorite character in this whole series is, of course, still Arjun. I have loved this character so much since reading the first book, but it was just such a torture at times to read through the story, mainly because you can see what kind of a person he is becoming, and you don't want him to turn out to be that way, and you still want him to have hope and see some good in the world, and you hope that he tries to become a better person. I'm not going to try and give away the spoiler as to what happens in the ending, but I just want to say that after I finished reading this book, I think I loved Arjun's character even more. And I just feel like he is one of those characters who you will never forget reading about ever. Like, the book is about Kalki and it's about this great war between the Dharma and the Adharm. But irrespective of all of that, the one person that you will remember after reading this whole trilogy is Arjun, even if you forget Kalki. There are a few minor recommendations which I feel could have improved the story. One is if the author had made a few more pages about Kalki and Arjun's interactions with each other towards the end, because I really felt like the last few pages were so rushed with so many things happening for a conclusion to take place that you really don't get to have that impact. And I would have liked to see more conversations and dialogues between these two characters. Also, there is no mention provided as to what happens to the eye of Brahma, which is mentioned a lot in the second book, and you really don't know who has it or who is controlling it at this point. Or if they have mentioned it, maybe I have forgotten about it, but I don't recall reading about it in this book. And it was also weird that Kadru is defeated in this very graphic and brutal way, even though she comes only for part of the story. But someone like Kali is defeated in a very normal, okay, he's just defeated in this manner without any explicit violence or any grand gesture, which I thought was disappointing because Kali has been the main villain since the first book. And I feel like the author could have paid tribute and given a nod and mentioned a few of the characters from the previous books, like Bala or Kripa, who are not to be seen in this book. In fact, one of the characters who I truly missed in the story was Kripa, and I felt like the author could have tried to bring him back in at least one or two scenes, in remembrance at least, because he was such an important character in the previous two books. And there were some very uninteresting side characters like Vibhishan who were just there, present in the story, but they did not have impact in any way whatsoever. But these are all very minor things compared to how entertaining and captivating and gripping this story was. And just for the ending and just for the character of Arjun, I would give this book a full 5 out of 5 star rating. If you are interested in dipping into mythological fiction or Indian mythological fiction and you don't know where to start, I would recommend reading only the Kalki Trilogy series because it is so amazing. I really loved reading all three books and I would highly recommend it. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please do like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell notifications icon to get notifications on whenever I post something new. And until next time, bye.